What began as another celebrity interview quickly descended into television history's most explosive confrontation. Jimmy Kimmel's relentless mockery pushed tech billionaire Elon Musk beyond his breaking point, culminating in a dramatic exit that left millions of viewers stunned and social media ablaze with reactions. "Welcome back to the show," Jimmy Kimmel said with his signature smirk, as the audience applause settled. "My next guest needs no introduction, though he certainly tries to insert himself into every conversation possible." The studio audience's laughter had an edge to it. "Please welcome the man who promises Mars colonies but can't keep his Twitter servers running, Elon Musk." The audience applauded politely as Musk walked onto the stage with a stiff smile. His body language was already tense as he settled into the guest chair, adjusting his suit jacket. The two men exchanged a handshake that lasted a beat too short. "Thanks for having me, Jimmy," Musk said, his voice carrying that familiar awkward cadence. "It's been a while since I've been on the show." "Well, you've been busy, haven't you?" "Buying social media platforms, launching rockets that sometimes explode, promising self-driving cars for what, the 8th year in a row now?" Kimmel delivered the jab with a smile, but there was no warmth behind it. Musk let out a forced laugh. "You know, innovation isn't linear. We've actually made tremendous progress with our autonomous driving technology. The latest version—" "Right, right," Kimmel interrupted, waving his hand dismissively. "But isn't it true that you recently had to recall almost 1 million Teslas because the doors were opening randomly while people were driving? I mean, that seems like a pretty basic feature to get right before we let the cars drive themselves." Furry audience oohed as Musk's expression tightened. "That's a significant mischaracterization of the issue. It was a software update that could have killed people," Kimmel cut in again. "But hey, at least the cars have fart noises built in, right?" "Priorities." Musk shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "Look, Jimmy, I came here to talk about our recent breakthroughs in sustainable energy and the upcoming Mars mission timeline. Tesla is just one part of a larger vision to—" "Ah, yes, Mars," Kimmel said, leaning forward. "Let's talk about that. You've been promising Mars colonies since what, 2016? When exactly are humans going to set foot on Mars, Elon? Because I think my viewers would like to know if they should pack their bags or just settle for watching another CGI rendering." The tension in the studio was palpable now. Camera operators exchanged glances, and the show's producer began whispering urgently to an assistant. This was veering far from the planned interview. "We're making significant progress," Musk replied, his voice hardening. "SpaceX has revolutionized the cost of access to space. We've developed the most powerful operational rocket in history. These things take time." "Time, money, and apparently a lot of hot air," Kimmel retorted. "Speaking of hot air, let's discuss the Hyperloop. Remember when you promised us vacuum tubes that would transport people from San Francisco to LA in 35 minutes? How's that working out?" Musk's jaw tightened visibly. "Projects of this scale require regulatory approval and— So it's the government's fault that after 10 years, there's not a single operational Hyperloop anywhere in the world? Despite you calling it the fifth mode of transport?" Kimmel pressed. "You're oversimplifying extremely complex engineering and regulatory challenges," Musk said, his voice rising slightly. "The Boring Company has made significant progress with underground transportation systems." "Ah, yes, the Boring Company," Kimmel nodded with exaggerated enthusiasm. "The company that promised underground highways and instead delivered a single-lane tunnel in Las Vegas where Teslas get stuck in traffic. Revolutionary stuff." The audience laughed, and Musk's face flushed. His fingers were now gripping the armrests of his chair. "I notice we haven't mentioned your most recent acquisition," Kimmel continued, not letting up. "How's that going? You promised to make it a bastion of free speech. But from what I can tell, it's mostly become a platform for spreading conspiracy theories and tanking Tesla's stock price with your late-night tweets." "That's not accurate at all," Musk said sharply. We've implemented numerous reforms to improve content moderation while protecting genuine free speech. The platform is actually seeing increased engagement from bots, maybe," Kimmel interrupted. "Speaking of which, wasn't that your excuse for trying to back out of the deal? That there were too many bots? But now suddenly they're not a problem?" Musk's expression darkened further. "I think you're deliberately misrepresenting—" "I'm just asking questions, Elon," Kimmel said with faux innocence. "Like many investors are asking about Tesla's stock price. It's down what, 40% since you decided to play social media mogul? That's a pretty expensive midlife crisis, wouldn't you say?" The mention of Tesla's stock price clearly struck a nerve. Musk's eyes narrowed and he sat up straighter in his chair. "Tesla is still one of the most valuable companies in the world," he said coldly. "And unlike your comedy, our innovations are actually moving humanity forward." The audience gasped at the direct counterattack. Kimmel's smile never faltered, but his eyes hardened. "Moving humanity forward? Is that what you call it when you fire thousands of employees without warning? Or when you publicly attack public health officials during a pandemic? Or maybe when you accuse innocent people of being pedophiles?" A tense silence fell over the studio. Musk's face had gone from flushed to pale. The show's producer was now frantically signaling to go to commercial, but Kimmel ignored him. "You know what, Jimmy?" Musk said in a dangerously quiet voice. "I didn't come here to be your punching bag. If you want to have an actual conversation about the challenges and accomplishments of revolutionizing multiple industries simultaneously, I'm happy to do that. But this cheap character assassination isn't what your viewers deserve." "Oh, I think my viewers deserve to see the real Elon Musk," Kimmel shot back. "Not the carefully cultivated persona you present in your staged appearances and curated social media posts. The real Elon who can't handle criticism. The one who lashes out when anyone questions his grand promises." The tension between the two men was electric now, and neither seemed willing to back down. The producer was now practically jumping up and down off camera, but both men were locked in their confrontation, oblivious to anything else. "You want to talk about handling criticism?" Musk said, leaning forward. "That's rich coming from a comedian who's built his entire career on mocking others while hiding behind the shield of, 'It's just a joke.' When was the last time you actually created something of value?" Kimmel's eyebrows shot up, and he leaned back in his chair with a theatrical gesture of shock. "Created something of value? I created a platform where millions of people can laugh and find joy at the end of a hard day. What have you created lately that actually works as promised? Are you serious right now?" Musk's voice rose, no longer making any attempt to maintain his usual composed demeanor. "I've revolutionized electric vehicles, space travel, and renewable energy. My companies have created tens of thousands of jobs and are actively working to ensure humanity has a sustainable future. And yet Tesla just announced another delay in the Cybertruck production," Kimmel countered, his smile growing sharper. "What is this, the fifth postponement? I've seen more reliable timelines from George R.R. Martin." The audience erupted in laughter, which only seemed to fuel Musk's growing anger. Manufacturing complex vehicles during global supply chain disruptions is slightly more challenging than reading cue cards and asking celebrities about their vacation photos, Musk snapped. "But I wouldn't expect someone who's never built anything to understand that." "Speaking of building things," Kimmel pressed on, ignoring the jab, "let's talk about your robot. What was it called again? Optimus? The one you promised would revolutionize labor, but instead, we got a guy in a spandex suit dancing on stage? How's that coming along?" The audience laughed again, louder this time. The show's director was now frantically signaling to the camera operators, unsure of how to handle the escalating situation. "We've made significant progress with our humanoid robot program," Musk said through gritted teeth. "Just last quarter, we demonstrated advanced mobility and dexterity that—" "So still no robot butler to bring me my coffee?" Kimmel interrupted. Because that's what you promised, right? A robot in every home. Meanwhile, Tesla's stock keeps dropping. Down another 8% today, wasn't it? That's gotta hurt. At the mention of Tesla's stock price dropping further, Musk's face contorted. With barely contained fury, the audience fell silent, sensing they were witnessing something unprecedented on live television. You want to talk about Tesla's stock? Musk's voice was dangerously quiet now. Do you have any idea what it takes to build a company from nothing? To create an entire industry shift towards sustainable energy? While you were making fart jokes, I was working 120-hour weeks, sleeping on factory floors, putting everything I have into building something that matters for the future of this planet. And yet you found time to post memes and pick fights on social media, Kimmel retorted. Impressive time management skills. This interview is a joke, Musk said, his tone ice cold. You invited me here under the pretense of discussing our latest innovations, and instead, you're engaging in cheap shots for ratings. Is this really what your show has devolved to? I'm just asking the questions your investors would like answered, Kimmel said, his demeanor suddenly serious. Like why you spent billions on a social media platform that's now worth less than half what you paid for it? Or why your solar roof tiles are years behind schedule? Or maybe why you're revolutionary? Self-driving technology is still stuck in beta after promising it would be ready years ago? The tension in the studio was now almost unbearable. Staff members were exchanging worried glances, and several audience members looked visibly uncomfortable. You know what? Musk said, unbuttoning his suit jacket with deliberate slowness. I didn't sign up for this hit job. You clearly have no interest in the actual work we're doing or the challenges of innovation. You just want a viral moment for your dying show. Dying show? Kimmel laughed, though there was an edge to it now. We're doing just fine. Unlike the Tesla Semi, which I hear has been spotted exactly never on actual highways, despite being in production for what, 3 years now? Musk's eyes narrowed to slits. You think this is funny? Making a mockery of thousands of engineers working tirelessly to solve some of humanity's most pressing problems? While you sit here in your comfortable studio recycling the same tired jokes year after year? At least my jokes don't lose people's life savings, Kimmel fired back. How many retail investors got burned following your cryptic tweets about taking Tesla private at $420? Or your Dogecoin pumping that left ordinary people holding the bag while you laughed about it on SNL? The producer was now standing directly in Kimmel's line of sight, drawing his finger across his throat in the universal cut signal. Kimmel ignored him completely, his focus laser-locked on Musk. You present yourself as some kind of tech messiah, Kimmel continued, pressing his advantage as he sensed Musk's growing discomfort. But let's be honest, you're really just a good marketer with a talent for making promises you can't keep. Mars. Colonies? Neuralink? Robot taxis? Tunnels under major cities? How many of these fantastic promises have actually materialized? Musk's face had gone from red to an alarming shade of purple. His hands were clenched into fists on the armrests of his chair. You have no idea what you're talking about, he said, his voice trembling with barely controlled rage. You're just another mediocre comedian trying to boost your relevance by attacking people who are actually changing the world. Changing the world? Kimmel's laugh was harsh now. Or just changing your bank balance? The Musk method seems pretty clear. Announce something impossible. Collect deposits and investments. Deliver a fraction of what was promised years later, if at all. Then move on to the next shiny object. Tell me, how's that taxi to Mars coming along? Should we expect that around the same time as those solar roofs you promised years ago? The studio went dead silent. Even the camera operators were frozen, transfixed by the unprecedented spectacle unfolding before them. For a moment Musk said nothing, his breathing visibly heavy, his expression unreadable. Then he reached up and yanked his lapel microphone off with a sharp, decisive motion. The sound of fabric tearing was audible throughout the studio. I'm done, Musk announced, standing abruptly. This isn't an interview, it's an ambush. I won't sit here and let you mock the work of thousands of brilliant engineers and scientists who are actually trying to solve real problems while you contribute nothing but cynicism and cheap jokes. The audience gasped collectively. No one had ever walked out of Kimmel's show before. "Oh, come on, Elon," Kimmel said, his tone suddenly conciliatory as he realized things had gone too far. "It's just a bit of fun. We're just having a conversation here." "No, we're not," Musk responded, his voice eerily calm now. "You're not interested in a conversation. You're interested in humiliating me for ratings. Well, congratulations. You got your viral moment." Kimmel's producer was now practically sprinting toward the stage, but it was too late. "And by the way," Musk continued, addressing the audience directly, "Tesla's stock isn't down because of my tweets, or because our products don't work. It's down because of cynical short sellers and media personalities like this one, who profit from tearing down anyone trying to create something new." He pointed at Kimmel, who for once seemed at a loss for words. "People like him don't understand innovation because they've never created anything themselves. They don't understand that failure is part of progress. They just want to sit on the sidelines and mock the people actually in the arena." "Now hold on," Kimmel started, but Musk cut him off. "No, I won't hold on. I've held on for 20 minutes of bad faith attacks. I came here to discuss the future of sustainable energy and space exploration, not to be your punching bag." With that, Musk turned and strode toward the exit, leaving Kimmel sputtering behind him. "Ladies and gentlemen, Elon Musk," Kimmel said weakly, attempting to salvage the situation with humor, apparently as fragile as his promises. The audience's reaction was mixed. Some laughed nervously, others sat in stunned silence, while a few actually began to boo Kimmel. It was unprecedented. As Musk reached the side of the stage, he turned back one last time. "You know what the difference between us is, Jimmy? In 20 years, people will remember me for changing how humanity moves, communicates, and explores the cosmos. They'll remember you for this pathetic attempt at character assassination." And with that, he was gone, leaving behind a visibly shaken Kimmel and a studio in chaos. We'll be right back after this," Kimmel managed, his usual confidence nowhere to be found. As the show cut to commercial, the damage control began immediately. Producers huddled in panicked groups, smartphones lit up across the studio as audience members rushed to post about what they'd witnessed. And the director was already on the phone with network executives. By morning, the confrontation had gone viral across every platform. Clips of Musk's dramatic exit were being shared millions of times, with commentary split between those celebrating Kimmel's takedown of a billionaire and those applauding Musk for standing up to what they saw as a media ambush. Tesla's stock, initially, plummeted in pre-market trading, but by midday had rebounded dramatically as Musk supporters rallied to buy shares in solidarity. Team Elon and Kimmel the Killer were trending side by side, while media outlets scrambled to analyze the implications of the most explosive moment in late-night television history. For Kimmel, the fallout was mixed. His ratings spiked dramatically in the days following the incident, but his reputation took a hit among certain segments of the audience who felt he had crossed the line from comedy into cruelty. Several scheduled guests quietly postponed their appearances, wary of similar treatment. For Musk, the moment became a defining one in his public persona. While some critics saw his walkout as further evidence of an inability to handle criticism, many supporters viewed it as a principled stand against a media ecosystem they believed was hostile to innovation and progress. His impassioned defense of his company's missions resonated with fans and employees alike. 3 days after the incident, Musk broke his silence with a single post on his social media platform. Disappointed by Kimmel's approach, but grateful for the opportunity to demonstrate that some things matter more than enduring mockery for ratings. The work continues. The post was liked and shared millions of times within hours. A week later, SpaceX successfully launched another mission to the International Space Station, and Tesla announced a breakthrough in battery technology that sent its stock soaring to new heights. At his next public appearance, Musk was asked about the Kimmel incident by a reporter. He smiled enigmatically. Sometimes you have to walk away from those who don't understand what you're building, so you can get back to actually building it. Back at his show, Kimmel addressed the incident with a mixture of defiance and reflection. "Look, maybe I pushed too hard," he admitted to his audience. "But asking tough questions of powerful people is part of my job. Still, there's a line between challenging and cruel, and I'm still figuring out where that is." The Kimmel-Musk confrontation would be dissected in media studies classes for years to come. A perfect storm of personality, power, media, and the tension between innovation and accountability. Neither man would ever mention the possibility of a rematch, but audiences couldn't help wondering what would happen if they ever shared a stage again. For now, though, both had returned to what they did best. Kimmel to his comedy, Musk to his companies, each perhaps a little wiser about the volatile intersection of entertainment, technology, and the court of public opinion. The night late-night TV exploded would long be remembered as the moment when the carefully constructed facade of celebrity interviews cracked, revealing the raw human emotions that even the most powerful and polished personalities can't always control.